and
RCB.
RCB.
Majorly these three is major
We
according
said.
to me, right? Maybe SRH also. Like it's a the eye on majorly these four, but however, like I'm a diehard MI fan. Okay, and Shahrukh fans will go to KKR, but I'm a diehard MI fan. I that too. The match happens CSK and MI. That's the match here. Always, I don't miss any IPL matches, but not CSK versus MI. I'm a extremely great fan of MI.
Dhoni.
Not in the recent times. The older times, MI was very good. Like Sachin, Rohit, Pollard,
Malinga.
Jaisurya,
Yeah, not that much, but yeah,
Harbhajan Singh.
Harbhajan Singh, that
Malinga.
era. Malinga, yeah, that era. That I like a lot. I still remember.
Ricky Ponting.
Yeah, I still
Pollard.
remember. In league, MI was a CSK. MI hit CSK. Second league, MI hit CSK. Super 8. Super 8, I think Super 8, right? If I'm not wrong. Or, sorry. What do we call this semi-finals? I don't remember.
Playoffs.
Eliminators.
Playoffs, yeah,
Playoffs.
eliminators. That,
Semi-side.
that time,
Qualifiers.
qualifiers and eliminators. In qualifiers, MI beat CSK. Again, CSK won with other team and came to finals. Again, MI beat CSK. That season, everyone remember?
Yes.
That, that was like I'm a kid that time, 2008 or 2009. Like there was a very big work going on Facebook myself and my whole MI fans with the CSK fans. Later on, the same it got reversed. CSK bet MI in the next season. The same thing. That's always a
Rivalry.
rivalry revenge. Anyway, by that time I got enough maturity. Was no, IPL is okay. Take it as entertainment. Don't go so personal. That's it. Anyway,
Hello. So
Yeah.
is that so you have shared on the afternoon that tax video at the last there was a photo. Is that you, Max? Upload.
I'm not that. I'm not that person. Anyway, let's get. It's hypothetical. I'm leaving this to you. Okay. Even in the gold video first day, I think that mass person will be in the last, right? Correct. I'm not that person. I'm leaving this to you. Let's get started, folks. Ready? Very important topic. Yeah. Olive, yeah. Have a check. Folks, the next 1 hour, I need it to be very, very, very cautious enough. All right. So just have a check on this, right? Just have a check on this. We need to understand EC2 for a better understanding on EMR. We need EC2 understanding to get a better understanding on EMR. So that's the reason we are going to talk about EMR today. Mostly we'll start the development. When development completion, I'm not sure. I cannot rush up for EC2 or S3. Definitely we have to complete S3 well, EC2 well, EMR well, and everything. Right? Yeah. And one more thing. Next week, we are going to have a complete EMR deployments. But how to tackle in the interviews, that I'll tell you. In the interviews, that I'll tell you. All right. Okay. If the question comes up, Sai, meanwhile, how to answer it, Sai, that I'll tell you. Don't worry. Don't skip next week's session, folks. This week, I'm not sure. Like many folks asked us leave because of long weekend or something. Many messages we got. This reason, Sai, that reason, Sai. We planned for vacation, Sai, long weekends, Sai, Good Friday, Sai. That's the reason we are going out. Whatever. It's their loss. I don't have any words to them. Going forward, do not skip the sessions. EMR cloud sessions are very, very important. So far, we fought so far to reach this point, to learn many things. But many folks will give up at this point of time. We do very well in Hive and Scoop, but nowhere it is bothered or nowhere it is actually considered. Yes or no? Agreed or not?
yes,
Comparatively, compare with Spark. Then we fought very good for Spark. Later on, we are at a situation to connect all the dots and complete in a full-fledged way. Losers, always losers. Crowded, enough people, according to me. Okay. So I don't want to bother them. I don't want to hit on with them. It's their life, it's their rules. If you want to stay back, you stay back. If you want to do it well, do it well. Enhance your careers. Anyway, now have a check on this. Even though that's a long weekend, I cannot access the permissions, whatever folks has asked. Sai long weekend vacations, I know that's their problem. Okay, that's their problem. Anyway, you will definitely complete the video side. By that time, access key, secrets key will not be available to them. Yeah. Now touch the very important and delicate area in AWS, our area. Right? Now, let me start from the point. All right? Let me start from the point where it actually gives a complete idea. Folks, all of you are ready for the EMR? I believe yes.
Sai.
Yes, sir.
Sai.
Yes, sir.
Many questions would come in this area. So please be attentive. Right? Now, one fine day, I got a mail. Concentrate here, folks. Concentrate. Please concentrate. Okay, I'm terminating. I think I've terminated all. Okay, let me terminate this guy. All right. Folks, let me start with very normal scenario. Well-known scenario. All right. We don't require all this. Let's start with the problem statement as usual. Let's start with problem statement as usual, folks. Next 1 hour, kindly concentrate. Few areas, what we do in our real time. We are going to see that. Few areas, what we usually do it in real time. I'm going to show you. All right. Paka. Now, let's start with the problem statement. One fine day, I got a mail. My boss stated, look at the problem statement, folks. Sai, we have a source data sitting at this path. Can you look into this path, all of you? We have source data sitting at this path. S3, Zayo SS36, source devices.json. Source data is sitting in this path. All of you agree my point? All good? So
Yes,
far?
sir.
Yeah. My boss stated, read this file, Sai, then do the filters, okay? He's asking us to do a filters right now. Read this file, right? Do a filter lat greater than 40. Look at the requirement. We have a source data sitting at Zayo SS36 src devices.json. Read this file, do the filter latitude greater than 40. Write the results as CSV to below path. All of you understood this or not? Here.
Yes,
Yes,
All?
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
I.
Yes, sir.
understood, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now have a check what it says. Folks, have a check. Right? Who is that Realme 5? Who is that Realme 5? Who is that last time? Who is that Realme 5? Who is that Realme 5? Okay, sorry, removing it. Okay. Now, have a check here, folks. The requirement was pretty simple. Very, very simple. Imagine I have an RDBMS. Say I have S3. In that S3, I have a bucket in the name ZOSS 36. In that ZOSS 36, we have SRC folder. Inside that SRC folder, we have devices.json. We have devices.json. All of you agree my point so far? All of you here? Yeah, done. Now, my boss wants to create a directories as test and want latitude greater than 40. Who can help me here? Tell me. Who can help me? In this situation, who is the only person can assist me to do these filters and writes?
Spark.
EMR.
Spark should help me. Yes or no? Basically.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Spark should help me.
Yes.
But Spark will definitely help me. 100% Spark will help. I have some data here that will help me to write it as a latitude greater than 40. Spark is the only guy, easiest guy who can help me right now. But where is Spark? Where is Spark?
No local.
Local drive. Local machine.
I want to develop my code, boss. I want to develop my code. You remember this situation, the developers deployment, I said there would be the dev environment, there would be the production environment. Remember all of you?
Yes.
There would be my laptop. I may have my source data sitting here. Now, the same source data will be sitting in the dev environment in production as well. What I'll do, I will open a Spark shell here. Folks, remember or not?
Yes, I.
Yes.
We remember.
Open Spark shell.
Of course, I.
Then process this data, test your code. Then you will develop your code, correct? Then
Yes.
I take this code to my local, develop, put that code in where? In my Eclipse or IntelliJ. Then export it as jar.
Jar.
Take that jar to the production environment, submit. Correct?
Say.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is my requirement, right? With respect to this whole jar deployment, right? Have a check here. Development of code and everything. Do you think imagine the data is sitting in S3. See, dev environment, but it is in S3. Do you think I'll read the whole data through Eclipse all the time? Through connecting access key, secret key? You tell me? No. See, do you think, yeah, we saw that access key, secret key authentication. What if the data is 10 GB? Do you think, can you read it here? Connecting to AWS?
No, Sai.
No, your RAM will be occupied, folks. Understood or not? Your local RAM will be down. Your local RAM would be down, folks. That's a major problem here. So basically, we don't connect our Eclipse completely to read it from S3 all the time. That's the reason we need a Spark environment. I need a Spark shell. I need a Spark shell to develop my code. I need a server. I need a cluster installed with Spark shell to develop my code. Yes or no? You tell me now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
To develop my code, I need a Spark shell. But where is my cluster? Who will provide my cluster?
AWS.
AWS.
EMR.
In AWS, we have a Hadoop cluster service. We have a Hadoop cluster service. That cluster, we call it as what? As
EMR.
EMR. EMR is a proper Hadoop cluster where I will open, create my cluster, do my development, terminate my cluster. Folks, this is a small requirement. Is it not a requirement? Yeah, somehow big or small, we got a requirement, correct? Now I asked my boss, very silly question. I asked my boss, I know how to do it. It's simple. I know how to do it. It's simple. For sure, I know how to do it. It's quite simple. Right? For that, I need Spark shell. I need a Hadoop cluster to open Spark shell. Yes or no, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Where can I find my Spark shell? Okay. Where is my Spark shell? How to do that? Folks, it's purely real time, folks. This is what happens in real time. This is what happens in real time. My boss said, Sai, open AWS. Open AWS. Create your own Hadoop cluster. Instead of create, launch your own EMR cluster with Spark installed. What it is installed, folks? Tell me. With
Spark installed.
Within few minutes, your cluster will be ready. Log into the cluster, open Spark shell, develop your code. Once done, terminate the cluster. Makes sense? What he stated last is very important. What he stated once you put the development is done.
Terminate the cluster.
Very, very important statement, folks. In the cloud environments in AWS, we do not run clusters 24/7. Clusters are on demand here. The clusters are on demand here. That to AWS EMR are completely on demand. Trigger your cluster today, do the job, terminate your cluster, end of the day. Tomorrow morning, recreate your cluster. Anyway, that I'll tell you. Let's go. No, let's not put everything in a single boat. Let's go one after other. Okay, what my boss said at the first statement, what he said. Tell me. Launch your own cluster.
EMR cluster with Spark installed.
Within few minutes, your cluster will be ready. Log into your cluster. Open Spark shell. Develop the code. Once done, terminate the cluster. Now what Sai will do, he will quickly log into the AWS. Right? In AWS, what is the service name?
EMR.
EMR.
Go to EMR. This is our area. Not the same. They're duck cutting our area. Right? Fine. Where am I creating my cluster?
EMR.
Cluster.
Inside EMR.
Inside the EMR.
Inside EMR. Okay. Now, create a cluster. Tell me a number less than 5.
7.
4.
4.
Less than
Four.
5, boss.
2.
Math.
4.
Basic math.
4.
Take 4. Take 4. 1 plus 4. 1 plus
5.
4. 1 is too much. 5 is too much. 1 is too much. Extremist. Please.
3.
Okay, let's go with 4. What we are going to do, we are going to launch 1 plus 4 node cluster. What does that mean? What does that mean? Sai, you can say it 5, right? Why are you telling 1 plus 4?
Name nodes for data nodes.
Exactly.
Data nodes, 1 name node.
Master node,
for data
slave
Data
nodes.
nodes, slave nodes.
In other words, name node, data nodes.
Nodes are worker node.
You can ask me where is edge node side. I'll come to you. There is a twist for you here. Okay, don't worry. Now let's launch 1 plus 4 node cluster. Let's go create a cluster. Project development. What is the name I have provided?
Project development.
Project development.
The name of my cluster is Project Development. Folks, this guy is a very important guy. Can you see that, all of you?
Yes.
Yes, I.
Launch mode.
Launch mode.
Extremely important. Because launch mode, we use it cluster mode for development. During the development, what we'll choose? It is cluster. During the deployment, prod deployments, what we use? Tell me.
Execution.
You remember the project passage I provided? EMR step executions. Remember?
Yes.
Yes, I.
Yeah. I gave a project passage, right?
Yes.
Okay, I gave. Okay, who have not know that I gave? Okay, I posted in goal video. The goal video group. Gomati should have sent you to your personal chat. Yes or no?
Project
Don't be puzzled for everything. We should have got it. I should have already sent a project passage to explain in the interviews. Now, dev. As of now, let's go with dev because now what is my work? It's a dev work. All of yes or no? Basically.
Yes.
Let's go with dev work. Now it is giving me some suggestions. It is providing me some suggestions. Hey, you need to install this. Do we have Spark in this option?
Yes, last one.
This one. No.
No.
This option?
No.
This we have. This we do not have. This one? Yeah.
Yes.
We have
Yes,
Spark.
we have.
Select that Spark. We need this cluster installed with Spark, Hadoop, Yarn, and Zeppelin. We can still customize this. I'll come to you. Now, one master for sure. How many slave nodes I want? Tell me. 4. Choose key pair. Which key pair?
Geo
I am
36.
choose Zayo 36. I already
36.
have the key pair. This is in Mumbai location. Got my point, all of you? Yeah. Let's do one thing. If I go to North Virginia location, you will see those two key pairs we created some time ago. This is North Virginia creation of cluster. Now, project development, cluster mode, Spark, 1 plus 4 nodes. Do we have the PPKs available, all of you?
Yeah.
Yes, I.
Select your
Yes, I.
PPKs. Create the cluster. That's it. I am launching 1+4 node cluster to open Spark Shell and start my development. Now, how the EMR starts? By the time you create EMR, it would be in the starting state. What is the start state of EMR currently?
Starting.
Starting.
Starting. It is starting state. After some time, it will go to running state. After some time, it will go to waiting state. You got the point, all of you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
But
sir.
between these two, there is some fraction of seconds. It will go to bootstrapping state. There is slight for a few seconds or minute, less than a minute. It will go to bootstrapping state. But right now, it will go to starting state. After running state, then it will go to waiting state. This is the state where you can start your development. You understood, all of you, what I mean?
Yes, I.
Which state we have to wait for?
Waiting stage.
Okay, what is your guess? It is currently in starting state, then bootstrapping, running, and waiting. How much time it may take to come to waiting state?
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
1 minute is too much. 6 minutes it will take, 6 to 7 minutes. Depends. It is can you see what it is doing? It is installing the softwares. You got my point, all of you?
Yes,
What
sir.
I asked, hey, install Spark. Now what EMR is doing is, it has picked up 5 nodes in total. Out of these 5 nodes, how many masters do I have? 1 master.
One master.
One master.
Then slave 1,
4 slave nodes.
slave 2, slave 3, slave 4. Yes and all of you?
Yes, I.
Slave 1, slave 2, slave 3, and slave 4. Now, how many nodes are getting set up? Totally? 5 nodes.
5.
5.
My EMR triggered with 5 nodes. Where I can see this 5 nodes? I'll ask very simple question. Very simple question.
C2 instance.
Where can I find this 5 nodes?
EC2.
Are you sure?
EMR.
Are you sure? Do you think it is visible? What is your guess? If I go to EC2, will I able to see this 5 nodes? Or
No.
Boss, I'd like to tell you something. One sec. Let me tell you something. Folks, right now, AWS comes with a virtual machine thing, right? Which starts with EC2 only. Yes or no? All of you. What is a virtual machine service for AWS? Tell me. It is
EC2.
EC2.
this EMR, by the time it, one sec, is it when the number of VP cores exceeds? Okay, it got stopped. One sec. Let's launch with 2, folks. Let's start with two cores. Let's start with 2, just 2. Okay. Now, remove 2 out of it. Okay. Okay. 1 master, 2 slave nodes. Kindly consider the virtual machine service in AWS is nothing but the EC2. What I mean to say is, if this is your AWS, all right, if I launch an EMR with 3 nodes, obviously these three nodes are set up where? Tell me, folks.
C2.
Exactly. These three nodes will be available in EC2s because EC2 is only guy who is setting it up. Getting it or not?
Yes.
That's what the service is. You'll get the IP address of every node. Every node you'll get an IP address. That's the beauty. Getting it, all of you. I'll tell you, I'll show you. Now, I just triggered 3-node cluster, 1 master and 2 slaves. Let's let it come. Let it come. Let it get configured. Can you see something is happening here?
Yes, sir.
By the time I triggered EMR with 1 master and 2, sorry, okay. I triggered with only 1 and 1. That's okay. Sorry, folks. I forgot. I didn't change it, seems. That's okay. How many nodes did I trigger so far? Only 1 master, 1 slave.
And 1 slave.
1 master, 1 slave. You can check the hardware components here. Can you see hardware components? How many nodes we have? Tell me.
2.
Only
Two
two.
components.
Only 2 components I have. I have only 2 components. If I go to EC2, you'll see those 2 are running. Yes or no, all of you? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Sai.
Sai, how can you say this is EMR one side? How can you prove it? Come right. You will see what is this node, what is this node. Correct? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
SI.
What is this node? What is this node? You will see it.
Master and slave.
Right? Now, one is master, one is slave. It's clearly stating. This is your master. This is your master. This is your slave. That combined together form a single EMR cluster. Agreed or not?
Yes, I.
Yes, Sai.
Now we can log into. Yes, we can log into this EC2 mission through this master. But what I'd like to tell you is, in AWS, there is no concept of edge node. You got my point, what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We don't have a concept of edge node. We directly log into which guy?
Master.
Name node.
Name node.
We directly log into whom? Name node.
Master.
Master node. You will get to know master host name here itself. You will get to know master host here itself. All right, folks, it is currently installing the softwares. You will get the master host here itself. Copy this. Go to putty. It's still configuring. It's not yet completed. But give the host name here. What is important to log in? Tell me.
PPK file.
PPK file.
PPK.
Open it. It will ask you the username. Oh.
Different people.
One sec. I suspect an issue. That's okay. I know how to solve it. That's okay. One sec. Let me become an admin for a while. Class done. Now it will log in. Now, folks, what is the state of my cluster? Tell me.
Waiting.
Waiting. You are ready. Take it. Take the IP address. Go to putty. Go to putty. Right? New session. Give the host name here. Give the SSH. Authenticate it. Browse. Give that PPK. Accept. Can you see that all of you it is logging in? Yes or no?
Yes, I.
Yeah.
SI.
Now, just like EC2, Hadoop cluster has a common username, very common username. The username is Hadoop is the username. If you're logging into a EC2 user, class EC2 mission, it is just a EC2 user. If you're logging in as Hadoop, all right. If you're logging in as this, it's a Hadoop. Give enter. Your EMR is ready to use. Make sense, all of you?
Yes, I.
Yes, I.
It's a very grand enter. Huh?
Yes.
See, telling you right, this guy is AWS is not a small guy. He's a very, very, very business guy. The way he attracts people, it's not, see, that may be small or big tactics, whatever. Every area he attracts people. Logins, getting the IP address, creating the rules, creating the IAM policies. Every area you touch that. The UI, the way he had created the UI, he simplified the UI. That become a great fan of it actually. After working on Azure. Personal, again, personal subjective. Again, no offense. Don't be offended, Azure favorites here. Just telling you. This is my EMR, folks. Set. I just logged into my EMR. Right? Now, what we have to open in this EMR? You tell me. Spark Shell. Spark Shell. I'm opening Spark Shell here. Now, by the time the Spark Shell opens, I'll start my development. Please check here. Done. Shall we read the data now, all of you?
Yes, I.
Source data. Val df is equal to spark.read.format JSON.load. You just started the development. You started the development now. You just started the development. Done. df.show. Let's see the data frame. Is this our data frame? Right? Done.
Yes, I.
I read this data. Straight away I read this S3 data. No filters, nothing. I straight away read this JSON data right now. This JSON data. I read. Now, what is the filter? Tell me. Well, proc df is equal to df.filter. Call of
Greater than latitude
Greater than 40.
lat greater than 40. Correct? Proc df.show. Process results. Lat greater than 40 here. Yes or no?
Yes,
In lat.
Yes.
Yes, I.
Now, what am I expecting? To which directory I have to write my expectations? Tell me. In the same bucket, I have to create another directory here. Which directory I have to create here?
Test directory.
Test directory. Now, I have to write it proc df dot write dot which format I stated to write as CSV
CSV.
dot save S3 colon Zayo
JSS6.
JSS
Yes.
36 test. Paka? Now the write would happen. See, I'm not
Yes.
nothing. It's EMR is already connected to S3. Happily, it will read and write. Work is completed. If you come and check here, desk folder should have got generated. If you go inside the desk, you'll have the CSV also. Open that CSV. You will see the process data also. Makes sense? All of you?
Yes, I.
Yes, I.
My work is absolutely completed. Happily completed. Today, my development is completed. Today, my development is completed. Done. what I'll do to this EMR cluster now?
Terminate.
Terminate it.
I'll terminate.
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 I'll terminate it. My work is done. That's it. You understood the development procedure in real time, folks, all of you? Basically.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Folks, what we do in real time, I just showed you in the steps. I'll get a requirement. I'll create my own cluster. I start working on Spark Shell, develop the code. Once my work is completed, by end of the day, I terminate it. Now the question comes, what if the work is not completed, Sai? Correct? Obviously. Right.
Yes, sir.
But no other option. End of the day, you have to terminate. Because it's a cost for the company. Organizations should be very, very specific about the cloud cost. Very specific. All right. They say, I'll continue my development tomorrow morning. I'll leave this cluster today itself. No, they'll not let you do that. It's a cost. The whole night it has to run. That's it, folks. Putty gone. Can you see it is gone? The nodes are gone. Server is gone. Done. In real time, we launch our own clusters, develop the code. Once we develop the code, end of the day, we deploy it. We terminate the cluster. We could not say, I'll continue my development tomorrow morning. Organizations don't accept it. What they'll say, you developed your code right, take a copy in a notepad or somewhere else. If you need data generated at the back end, copy it to S3 as a stage data. Terminate the cluster. You cannot run your own cluster whole night. Got the point or not, all of you?
Yes, I.
Yes.
I.
How deep the cost is measured in real time is, my boss is a vice president, folks, for the organizations which I work. He's a bigger guy, very bigger guy, directly report to vice president. He's very busy guy. He almost manages 11 to 12 teams. To get his time, I have to wait for 1 or 2 days. Keep pinging him. Please respond. I have work. I have to discuss something, some technical, but very techy guy. But by the time I ping, I have some discussion on cost optimization. Immediately he pings back. Sai, let's connect. Tell me your idea. Tell me your idea. I'm always open for cost optimization. Reduce the cost. I'm okay. I'm ready. Let's start the discussion. That much we usually discuss on the cost optimization. You getting my point, all of you? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That much the importance they give. Because I'll tell you one simple reason. It's all about switch in, switch off. Switch it in, switch it off. By clicking a switch in button, the cost gets started in cloud. You switch off, the cost gets stopped. See, that much we should be cautious enough. I'll tell you something. One funny thing happened around December end or Jan first week. But very funny incident happened in my organization. What happened? I went ahead. See, I usually explore many things in AWS, okay, in real time. Now, we have the dashboard lens. In S3, we have the dashboard. Storage lens, we have dashboard. Right? In this storage lens, everybody's with me, right? Hearing me? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In this storage lens, you can go to default account dashboard. You will see, okay, API response. Just grant the permissions. I didn't set the permissions. Okay, policies are not allowing me. Anyway, now I selected our development buckets. We have so many buckets, right? I have a filter to open the bucket. That is a dev bucket. Dev bucket in the sense, we use it for the development storages, staging data, okay, testing data, whatever. You know how much, when we check the through lens, you know how much data was stored in the dev bucket? Only one bucket. What is your guess? How much data should have been there in that bucket?
5 GB.
100 GB.
Terabyte in TB.
2 TB.
20 TB. Terabytes, sir.
1.2 petabytes. You understood. What is petabytes, you know? Folks, you know the petabytes?
10 times.
Yeah, 1,000 times to the
terabyte.
terabyte.
I'll tell you. Bit, byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabytes, petabytes. You got the point? What I mean? 1.2
Yes.
petabytes in just one bucket. Can you believe it? $1.2 petabytes, folks, in one bucket. For this 1.2 petabytes, you know how much my company is charging a month? Shall I tell you the calculation? How much they're getting charged? Yeah? Have a
Yes,
check.
sir.
Yes.
I'll do a small calculation. Have a check. I'll do a small calculation. How much my organization is paying to AWS? More than 400-500 TB. All right. $0.121 per GB. Right? If you put GB to PB conversion, PB to GB conversion, right? 1.2 petabytes is almost how much? How much GB? This much GB. This much GB. Take this GB into small calculator. This much of GB into 0.021. 26,000 dollars we are spending unnecessarily every month. You got my point, all of you? How much in Indian rupees, approximately? Let's do that.
Into 80.
USD to INR.
16 lakhs.
21 lakhs. Can you see that, all of you? You got the point, all of you here.
Per month.
Per month. This is per month. 21 lakhs per month. Nobody bothered it. My boss is crying on January. So we put this much of data, nobody is using it. There is a very global meeting happened. All the teams, they opened the bucket. Imagine a vice president, a senior vice president is opening an AWS console. They're asking, hey, are you using this folder? Are you using this folder? Imagine the situation, folks. You getting it or not? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That much in real time, the cost matters, folks. See, we can go to Maldives and stay in resort for 2 to 3 days and pay the rent. What if I'm staying in Maldives completely throughout life? Will it not cost more? In the resort, with all privileges, you don't clean it, you don't maintain it, you don't upgrade it. They're taking care of it lifelong in Maldives. That's the organization's issues. Obviously, see, they are providing the service. That's the reason there'll be frequent S3 cleanup activities. There is a frequent EMR monitoring. There is a frequent EC2 monitoring. Hey, do we need this? Do we need that? There is a specialized team that my organization is allocated from January. 1.2 petabytes you're saving in S3. Nobody is using that 1.2 petabytes in that bucket. So we cleaned up completely. It's not knowing, right? Today you keep writing the data to AWS. You read the data from AWS, S3. My boss or my senior vice president cannot come and keep saying, hey, are you using the folders? Are you writing the folders? No, see, I'm a developer, boss. I have all privileges to read and write. That's the reason cost is very highly concentrated in real time. They'll not let you to do whatever you want. My boss clearly says a point. Launch your clusters, happily launch your clusters. You know what? If Sai is working, Sai will launch a cluster. One cluster. If my other teammate is working in real time, they launch one cluster. He launches one cluster for himself. If another teammate is working, he will launch one more cluster. It's not like one cluster used by all of them, folks. You got the point, what I mean? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Folks, for my work, I'm launching my cluster. For your work, you launch your own cluster. My testing team will want to do a testing. They launch their own cluster. Because I want to use Spark cluster, completely the Spark area. Why I let any other person to use my Spark cluster? No. My boss clearly says to all the team, I'm giving all the privileges to launch your cluster. If Sai wants to launch, you launch. Dear 4 QA teams, if you want to launch individually, launch yours. All the developments want to launch as many clusters you want. But launch only if it is really required. Once you launch a cluster, don't go across here and there, launching your own number of nodes. Don't do that. I cannot come and keep monitoring to it. Launch your cluster, complete the development, terminate. You got that, all of you? Folks, I'm talking all the real-time discussions. You got it? Basically.
Yes, I.
This is a discussion happens in real time. After that, S3 cleanup happened. Almost, not completely. Out of this 1.2 petabytes, approximately 900 TB got cleaned. We saved 900 TB data. Then gradually the cost has come down, monthly cost. See, that's the reason EMR also cannot run all the time. They will say, by end of the day, do the job, copy the data to S3, terminate the clusters. Do not continue to run your cluster the whole night. But unfortunately, I start my work in the nights. Okay, I'll tell you. I work, okay, I update the status and everything. But in my work, mostly I'll get the crazy development ideas. So many problem solving will happen in my night time, especially according to me, the Brahmamutra is 10 to 12 o'clock in the night. 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Whichever I touch, I get the solution. Throughout the day, I will do whatever I want. Nothing works out sometimes. But between the 10 to 12, I'll have a cluster on. My boss will ping, Sai, are you working? Yes, boss. Okay, are you working the whole day? No, yeah, I'm just analyzing, boss. His worry is whether I'm using the cluster the whole day. Okay, that's what happens. He sits in US, so obviously he pings in night. So this is a whole cluster. So folks, as a developer, what we do in real time, daily morning, what we do?
We need to
Launch.
Launch a
EMR.
Launch
cluster.
cluster.
Continue the development. Correct, all of you? Yeah.
Yes.
Or start the development. End of the day, what you have to do?
Terminate the
Terminate the
cluster.
cluster and leave the day. Terminate the cluster and leave the day. If you forgot to terminate the cluster, there is a notification keeps coming up. Hey, this cluster is idle for 4 hours. Are you working? Right? We usually get a call from my boss directly in the midnight. Hey, are you using that cluster? You don't believe it, folks, it happened. So we should be very cautious about the cost. Fine. How is at least a start on EMR? Was it good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I.
Just give me some time.
Awesome,
Just give me some time. Now, what we do in real time, folks, no, don't raise your hand. Wait, don't raise your hand. Wait. Now, what we do in real time, we go to EMR, right? Launch our own cluster. Once I launched my own cluster, what I'll do, folks? I launch my own cluster and I'll open the Spark shell, right? One sec, folks. Yeah. I launch my own cluster. I create my own cluster on the fine day. All right. No, Sai, I don't want to create the clusters. Usually we don't keep creating it. We just clone it. Okay, yesterday I worked on it, right? Some time ago. Just clone it. Just clone it. That's it. Within few minutes, same key pair, everything. Create a cluster. Maximum we clone it. Yesterday the work is done. Same cluster size, yes, same cluster size. We just clone it. Once today I started my work. Now it would be in the starting state, running state, waiting state. It will run. I will log into my putty, complete my work, terminate my cluster. Right? All of you are clear whatever I say so far? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, this week, folks who are attending the interviews, this week's folks who are attending the interviews,
Sir.
They will ask you such questions. How you do the development? Folks, 2 areas, be very careful enough. Okay, I'll put 3. Okay, 4. Okay. Folks, very important bulletin points, folks, especially for the folks who's attending the interviews. Anyone having an interview tomorrow? Tomorrow?
I have Sai Balaji.
Balaji, okay.
Yes, sir.
Kanimuri also. Okay. Now have a check. Be clear in your point. 1. We launch our own clusters, right? Develop the code. Complete the development. Or else we terminate by end of the day by copying the data to required data to S3, and we terminate. Second, in our projects, we automated the whole cluster deployment, EMR production deployment with EMR command runner. What you have to say? What is that word? Command runner. Folks, by the time you say put a word command runner, nobody will ask you further. All the answers are there in that word. What is that word?
Command
runner.
Consists of step execution. Actually, I thought of doing it today, but you hope you are seeing it. Actually, that's a plan. Okay, complete the EMR deployment, but if we're not able to do that today, definitely will next week. But meanwhile, if you're attending the interviews, I'm just giving these points. In your project, we automated the whole 5 areas, folks. Sorry, I'm remembering now. Sorry, 5 areas. We launch our own clusters in the developer's environment, complete the development, or else we terminate the end of the day by copying the required data to S3. In our project, we automated the whole EMR production deployment with EMR command runner, consists of step executions. We run 24 node or 25 node R series cluster in our project. Folks, every EMR will have a series. Where is that here? Where is that here? Which series is this? It is M series. Can you see that, all of you? Yeah. Say that we launch a 25 node R series cluster for production deployment. Number 4. We schedule the EMR command runner script through EC2 scheduler. In this EC2, we configured NI5 as an orchestration. Which tool are we using to schedule? Tell me.
Pi.
NI5 uses execute process property. Everything we are going to see, folks, this is just a helping hand for the people who are attending this week. We schedule the EMR command runner script through EC2 scheduler. We configured NI5 as an orchestration and scheduling. If they go further, say we use execute skip property in our NI5. One last important point. Once we develop the code, we commit to Git. We have DevOps team who developed CI/CD script, right? In which we open Jenkins and build the jar for production. Maybe the fifth point might be quite huge. To give just a heads up, in real time what we do, folks, imagine this is my production area. Is it not jar is important? Yes or no, all of you? Correct?
Yes, I.
Yes. What we'll do is, we have S3. I need the jar here. I develop boss. I completed the development. We need the jar for Spark Submit. We need jar for Spark Submit. What we usually do, through Eclipse or IntelliJ, we commit the development code to where? Where will I commit the code? Tell me.
Git.
Git.
I commit the code to Git. Once I commit the code to Git, Jenkins will run in between. Jenkins UI. You remember I showed you Jenkins UI?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it is running now. Sorry. You want me to quickly show that once? At least the UI? Yeah.
Yes, I.
Yes.
All right. I'll try to build this host. Actually, this is a DevOps work, but at least I'll show you for your batch. At least I'll try maximum to show you to build a BCI/CD. Provided the time should permit. Yeah. Once I go to Jenkins, all right. I just created one test build, but it's not working. I'll just click build now. Can you see a build now, all of you? Actually, yeah.
Yes, I.
Yes, I.
By the time I give build now, immediately it reaches to Git. That's why I have to configure. That copies the jar to where? Tell me. To
Production environment.
production environment. My jar would be ready. That jar is used for Spark deployment by EMR command runner. Will run it. Folks, not in a single day you'll remember everything. But can you take care of these 5 points? Possible? Yeah.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sure.
So I think this
Sure,
point,
sure, sure.
this point could be easy. This point could be easy. This also, to a certain extent, it is easy. But this I showed you. But don't worry about the command runner. I'll show you what is command runner. This is my EMR, right? All of you? Correct? Did you see AWS CLI export here?
Yes, sir.
Can you see a big script?
Yes.
This is what the command runner is. Anyway, we'll discuss it later, right? So have these points, folks, really telling you this is it'll create a lot of breakthrough to show you in the real time, right? Important points to remember. to help, that would help you this week, right? This week. How is the session this week?
Awesome, sir.
Very nice, right?
Awesome, sir.
Interesting. Sir.
Hope I'm not boring you at least.
No, no, no,
Sai,
Sai.
knowledge gain.
Next week is very, very
Very
important,
interesting.
folks. We're going to do a project deployment, command runner, whatever I told. See, folks, whatever I told you here, development we'll be doing, deployment we'll be doing, R series cluster we're going to take. We're going to schedule in NiFi as well. We are going to, this part, I'll try my maximum level best to make it available by next week. Let's see, Jenkins part. Right? All of you understood today?
Yes,
I,
This solution,
Yes, sir.
that task solution I'll give you folks. Now, I requested Gomati to post all the interview questions of company to company, what everyone experienced from batch 34 directly to your goal video area. Everything will be available. One kind request to all of you, do not give up at this point of time. You're almost reaching very closer, folks. We completed Hadoop, Spark, now cloud has entered. S3 started, EMR development has started. Next week, the deployment will happen. Scheduling will happen. Many things are going to happen. Do not give up at this point of time. It's really, really, really important. Okay. The second scenario, I'll solve it and let you know, folks. Now, really, I'm out of mind because, like, I'm not sure my brain will work at this point of time as it's not fresh as it during the start, right? So, hope you understood everything. Do not have at least a thought to skip any more sessions, folks, please. Next week, let's meet for EMR deployment. I cannot give access during the weekdays. Please utilize the access during the weekdays. Thanks a lot, all of you who have doubts, stay back. Others can leave. Hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
All of you, just give me exactly a minute, folks. I really need one tea, folks. Give me a minute. Go ahead, Karthik. Karthik?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, tell me, Karthik.
Yeah. you said like 24 node cluster, right? Which is included master also.
No, 24, 1 plus 24.
Okay, 1 plus 24. Like we should mention 24 or 25.
You should mention like 1 plus 24.
Okay, 1 plus 24. And another one is you said like we have to give the commit to the Git. After that, it will move to production, right?
Go ahead. Question. I understand. I know what I said. Go ahead.
There is no such kind of staging and UAT servers. Those kind.
No, we have the UAT servers. No, see, we have the UAT servers. We have in the Jenkins also we'll be having stage and dev. Sorry, or prod. Getting it? If I give the stage, it will come to the stage bucket. I have to select it here where it has to build. Getting it?
Okay.
This will generate a jar. If I give stage as a selection, it's just an option to select. Jenkins, if I build it, I'll create one project for prod and one for stage. I just have to give it and build now. Immediately it puts it to production. Basically, you got it?
Oh yeah, got it. And one more thing is like this testing will do it in UAT server, right? Testing test.
Not like that.
testers
It depends. Developers will. Even testers will sometimes test the developers data also. Small data, right? Devis is a small data.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing is like you just now you mentioned like a filter you are doing, and after that you are doing that dot show off. How we can copy that code to our Eclipse? Like we will do
No, after every development of code, according to me, what I will do, I'll develop the whole code and keep copy pasting to my Eclipse or IntelliJ.
Okay, manual copy paste.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Mantu?
Sai, regarding 25 node cluster, that is a
Mhm.
production cluster. So we need to like in a production also that cluster will be terminated after the work is done.
Yeah. It's on demand. Always on demand. None of the clusters will run 24/7 unless until it's a streaming cluster.